Good morning, good
Oh,
evening, good
oh,
afternoon, good day to you. We are here down in the Bayou with Bayou Sports Talk. Thank you for tuning in. We had some technical difficulties. We're starting a little later than we would have wanted, but we're here. So let's go ahead and introduce our panel right before you. I'm Kay, your moderator, and let's start with Coach. Holla at him, Coach.
it's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boston community. Shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Bayou Sports Talk.
All right. And we have next on the panel, we have our Rue. Go ahead and talk to him, Rue.
Hey man, it's your boy, wonderful Rude Dog. You heard me? Been a minute since y'all started Pretty Fair. You know what I'm saying? I'm back at it again. It's your boy slash actor slash comedian, whatever you want me to be, broadcaster. Hey, but shout out to Coach. You know, one of the best universities, black universities. You know, not the best, but one of the best. I give you that. That's close
That,
enough.
that's what you say.
All right,
All right.
let's get this thing on the road, baby.
Well, all right, guys. And as y'all see, we are missing one. We shout out to Ray. Hopefully, we'll see you next week, Ray. All right, guys. So let's dive in. We got some great topics right before us. So we're gonna go ahead and start with Rue and get Rue's opinion and his thoughts about the Spence versus Crawford uh, championship fight. So, Rue, what are your thoughts?
What I think about it, I think I think your I think your man Spence is overrated. If you want to ask me, you know what I'm saying? I think you don't want to see that dude Croft, man. That little black dude, he got some hands on him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they want to see him fight. You know, I wouldn't want to fight him either. I had to grab something for him, but he could go when he could go. You know, so if I had to take a pick, I'd take Crawford all day long. You know what I'm saying? That was my money. I think he's one of the best fighters in the game right now, especially in his weight class. I don't think nobody want to get in front of him right now, bro. But I mean, I can't doubt the man Earl. You know, he put in a lot of work. He good with the hands too. But I had to take a pick. I'm going with my man Crawford, bro. Shout out to Big Craw.
Uh, but I don't know if you know this or not. You do understand that Spence has fought his entire career at welterweight, and Crawford started at 135, then he moved up to 140. This is third weight class. So I don't know if you understand that, but Spence is naturally bigger than him.
I mean, he might be bigger, whatever like that. But man, what I see what Crawford could do, man. I don't care how many weight classes. He can go to 10 different weight classes. From what I see, bro, he's good at what he do, man. He can go with anybody. I mean, I'm about to sound a little crazy on this one. I believe you can put him in heavyweight. I believe you'll whoop somebody in heavyweight, man.
See now,
I'm gonna be
hey, they
real
got
with
weight
you, man.
classes for a reason. They got
I
weight
know
classes
that.
for
I
a
know that.
reason. You
But
do
I'm just saying
understand that.
though. I'm I'm just saying. I'm just saying though. That's how much confident I am in this guy. Like I don't see him let nobody down, man. I just see him staying undefeated as he are. You know, like this dude could really could go.
I mean, hey, Spence undefeated too. So
Yeah, but
that's my,
Spence been a long time. Spence been backing from this fight for the longest. I wouldn't be surprised he back up the other fight. You know,
no.
man, you don't want
Actually,
to fight that man, bro. You know that
actually,
man. You don't want
Crawford
to
the
fight
one
that
that been
man.
holding up the fight. You do understand this, right?
Then he won. Then Spence won most of the money. He won this. He won that. Man, come on, man, get this man an even fight. Get this man
Yeah,
an
he
even
the A
fight,
side.
huh?
He the A side.
It don't matter, man. Get this man an even fight, man. This man could go.
All right, Rule. If you a fighter and I'm a fighter, and you get all the pay-per-view views, you generate all the revenue, shouldn't you get the lion's share? You just say I'm gonna be fair to coach and we just gonna split the money 50-50.
But what makes Spence more than this man here? Like, man, Crawford is undefeated too. Like, this man got the
From
hand too. If
look,
you undefeated and I'm undefeated, then we should be able to come to agreement. Like, let's get this on. Let me whoop your behind or whatever. Excuse, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it on.
well,
You
the
don't
thing
think
about it
that's
is,
right?
well, the thing about it is, Spence done made all the concessions to make the fight. But from a business standpoint, I mean, just to be truthful, I'm gonna give you an example, right? You know, Ray, if he
So
was here,
let me ask you the question. Don't cut you off or nothing. So if Crawford win, will Earl still supposed to be the man at the top?
say that again.
If Crawford wins the fight, so Earl Spence is still your man, the number one guy in that weight class?
No, it's for undisputed. So if Crawford wins, he's the undisputed welterweight champion. I mean, he already ranked by most people's standards. He already ranked number one pound for pound. Spence is not ranked number one pound for pound. So if Crawford wins, he's still gonna be the pound for pound number one by most people, the number one best fighter in the sport of boxing,
So
and he's gonna be the undisputed welterweight champion. So he's gonna be number one in the division. But we're not talking about from an accolade standpoint. We talking about from a business standpoint. I mean, you
well
do
look,
realize when, just to give you an example, when Mayweather and De La Hoya fought, De La Hoya was the A side in terms of generating revenue, pay-per-view buys, being a box office attraction, but Mayweather had all the accolades. You do understand that De La Hoya took a 70% split while Mayweather only got 30. Mayweather won that fight, and he was never the B side in any fight after that. Just recently with Devin Haney. Devin Haney was the better fight in my opinion, but George Kambosos had most of the belts. So they fought. Devin Haney only took 21% split. And then once he fought recently against Kambosos, he had to make, when he fought against Lomachenko, he was the undisputed champion. He had to make all the concessions for Lomachenko. And, a lot of Shakur Stevenson fans say, well, it's not fair to Shakur Stevenson that he's only getting a 25% split. But if you really believe in yourself, hey, you take the sharp money, and if y'all fight a rematch, then you're going to be the A side the second go round. So in terms of the Crawford Spence thing, yeah, Crawford may have more accolades, but from a business standpoint, Spence is the bigger draw. He sells pay-per-views. He's a box office attraction. He bring in the gate, he bring in the money. So, but the thing about it is, Crawford, he felt like it should have been 50-50, like straight down the middle. Hey, you got those 3 belts. I got this 1 belt. I'd have been undisputed at junior welterweight. I was Ring Magazine champion at 135. Hey, this the last belt. For you to get this, last title to be undisputed, it's 50-50 or nothing. So evidently Spence made the concessions that Crawford wanted for him to take the fight. Because, it was negotiating in November, and he walked away from the table to go fight David Avanesyan. So if anything, Spence is the individual that made all the concessions to make the fight happen. So if anything, Crawford was the one ducking. That's my opinion.
hey, I think we're going too far into this, too deep. Take our pick. Who you going with, Spence or Crawford?
Spence is going to win.
That's your pick. I'm going with my pick, Crawford.
Well, see, you're just giving it, just based on opinion, but from just a deeper perspective, from a boxing perspective, Crawford is a switch hitter. He could fight from a right-handed stance or from a southpaw stance. But in all actuality, he does his best work as a southpaw. And Spence is a southpaw also. So essentially, you got 2 left-handed fighters fighting each other. But the thing about it is, Crawford is a slow starter. In every fight, he spots the other person like the first 2 to 3, maybe even 4 rounds before he really get it going. Spence is a fast starter. He jumps out the blocks quick. So I think he going to get like maybe the first 4 rounds. Crawford going to turn up, but he going to be in too deep a hole. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think it's a Night of Legends type fight. However, I think Spence, he the bigger fighter. He the stronger fighter. He battle tested. He done beat pretty much every other champion in the division, for the exception of Crawford. So I mean, my money on Spence, and the thing about it is, even as a young fighter, in terms of sparring, it said he gave Floyd Mayweather Jr. the best work of his career. I mean, he broke Mayweather over. So I mean, if he could give Mayweather the business from a sparring standpoint, hey, I think he got the goods. So I mean, it's a 50-50 type fight. If Crawford did win, I wouldn't be shocked if Crawford did win, but my money on Spence. I think Spence gonna be. I think Spence the guy. So we'll see if what's gonna happen. I think the fight in 4 weeks? What is July the 29th, if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna see in a few weeks who got the goods. I'm definitely gonna be tuned in. So may the best man win.
Okay, well, guys, let's jump to something else that may be hot topics. Damian Lillard, the trade drama that it is increasing. Coach, let's start with you. What are your thoughts?
Well, just like I said, what happened, essentially his stance has been his entire career that he's against formulating and generating a super team. And he's made it clear and transparent that the only team he wants to play for is the Miami Heat. If you add him to the Miami Heat, they're a super team. So basically, at this point, he looks like he's contradicting himself, and he seems to be somewhat of a hypocrite. And as a result, he's caught some backlash for that. And in addition to that, it seems as if in Portland, those Trailblazer fans, they're diehard fans. And as a result, it seems as if basically, these fans were, such huge fans of Damian Lillard at this point, just from what I'm seeing, they kind of made a complete 180, not against him. So, I mean, that's to be expected.
Question. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but do you think it will get to the point the fans would do the same thing that they did when LeBron James left Cleveland? They were burning his jerseys and things of that sort. Do you think it will get that intense?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it'll be to a degree where you're going to have some fans that are going to say, well, hey, he stayed here X amount of years. He wasn't able to win a championship. I understand him leaving and going to a bigger market where he can win a championship potentially. However, to be truthful, most fans not going to understand, and I don't think he's going to get the benefit of the doubt. And I think the thing that's kind of making it even worse is the fact that, he's made it clear and transparent that if he doesn't get traded to Miami, he's not going to play nowhere. So it's basically Miami or nothing. And Portland, they're at the point where they're talking to every other team for the exception of Miami. Boston, they think they could get him traded to the Celtics, and they can convince him to want to be a Celtic to get him there. But from what I'm understanding, he's let like NBA insiders like Stephen A. Smith know, like, hey, either it's Miami or nothing. And I think that's the reason why, everything has been ramping up. For the most part, the Trailblazer organization should realize, hey, we can't put the pieces around him for them to be a championship contender. So they should just understand that they're not just going to give him away and they're not going to send him where he wants. For the most part, they're going to take the best. They're going to do what's in their best interest, whereas he's doing in his best interest. So as of right now, from what I'm understanding, they're accepting phone calls from all teams, entertaining trade offers from, teams like the 76ers, the Celtics. They're talking to everybody for the exception of the Miami Heat. So I think more than anything, they're trying to, drive up the trade value, or basically they're trying to use their leverage as a bargaining chip. I think the issue with that is, Miami is going to be able to get a third or fourth team involved in the trade. I really don't see the assets that Miami really could give to the Portland Trail Blazers that would make this an interesting deal because I did it on NBA Trade Machine multiple times for the exception of Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson. That's the only two players they have on their team that can make that trade work. And I mean, even if you gave them like 5 draft picks, I mean, I don't think it'll be worth it because Miami already played in the Eastern Conference Finals, so you know they're gonna be a perennial contender. So those draft picks are not gonna be worth a whole lot.
So, are you in agreement with that, Rue? What are your thoughts with Damian Lillard trying to get to Miami and whatnot? Okay, I think Rue is having technical difficulties. So I think we're gonna have to come swing back to him. Are you there, Rue? Oh, okay, wait.
Yeah,
He's
it's
having issues with his mic.
yeah. I mean, it seems as if he's kind of going in and out. I mean, maybe he's in a bad area. You know, a lot of these areas in South Louisiana, you know, hey, reception is not the best, so it is what it is.
Yes. So well, with that being said, uh let me ask you this question. With talking about Damian Lillard, what team do you if he does not make it to the Heat, what team do you think would really benefit from him outside of the Heat?
Honestly, I think two teams really stick out for me. I think the Philadelphia 76ers is one. I think if you compare him and Joel Embiid, I think that's a good 1-2 punch. And I mean, and you know, even if you add in Tyrese Maxey, of course, more than likely Portland may want Tyrese Maxey to make that deal go through. You never know. But I think the 76ers will be a good landing spot for him.
Y'all can hear me?
I think
Y'all
the
can hear me?
best landing spot will be outside of Miami. I think will be the Boston Celtics.
Y'all can
Okay,
hear
we
me now?
have Rue back. Rue, we're talking about Damian Lillard. What are your thoughts?
I heard y'all. Man, coach, I kind of I agree and I disagree, bro. Like I don't. Everybody should go to Miami. I mean, that's a perfect championship team. But where your bench at? You need a bench to win a ring. You just can't win a ring with 3 players like Jimmy Butler, and then you're looking at a 7-game series against um Nokic. I mean, the Joker, somebody like that. Like you still in the hole. Like I think the best fit for him is the Boston Celtics. You see what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
mean,
The Boston Celtics. You look at it, and I'm looking at the Portland Trailblazers too. You want a valuable player back. So why not get somebody like Jalen Brown back and maybe a Malcolm Brogdon or somebody like that back in a trade for Dame Dollar? You see what I'm saying? And get rid of him. You see what I'm saying? Like Portland could get rid of Malcolm Brogdon and Jalen Brown and Boston Celtics get Damian Lillard. You put Damian Lillard and Tatum together, pick and roll, it's very hard to stop, my man. It's very, very hard to stop. Then you got somebody like maybe like a Robert Williams, if they don't have to put him in a trade, you know what I'm saying, to make it work. You got somebody like that can catch rebounds. You got Paul Zingers. The floor so wide open now. You so much spaced out. And the team gonna want to see them in the playoffs. Because you got a team like the Celtics go deep every year, and you got a person like Damn Dollar Clutch. And I'm looking at the Trailblazers. You know what I'm saying? You got a young team coming up, the number 3 draft pick, Henderson. You got Simon. You got Sharp. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of great players on that team too. So as a rebuilding, that's where I want to go. I don't want no Max here. Because Maxson to me is a player that's on and off. You could keep Tyler Hero. You know what I'm saying? You could keep all them guys. If I'm going somewhere, I'm going Boston. And a lot of people say, man, send him where he want to go. No, I'm sending you where I want to send you at. You going to the Celtics. You want Jalen Brown, Brogdon, and a whole lot of draft picks.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but his desire is to go to the Miami Heat. That's all I was saying. For one, I don't disagree with you saying, but the thing about it is, if the Celtics is willing to make that trade? How you know that Jalen Brown is even on the table?
Well, if Jalen Brown not on the table, we don't have no deal. But you got to realize they already tried to trade Jalen Brown last year. You know that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware of that. I mean, some people feel that uh Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown they don't fit together. But I mean, at this point, you've made multiple deep playoff runs. Not this season, but the previous season, you went to the NBA Finals. So I feel not like why not make it work? And then you already added Porzingis. So I mean,
Man,
truthfully speaking,
let's be real, man. These I don't think these guys can play together. Something
say
like
that, say that again.
like with Terry. I don't think the guys can play together, man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Who Brown and Tatum?
Yeah, just because they're making deep playoff runs, I don't think
You cut out Rule.
It looked like we may have lost him. He may be in a bad area. As you say, with Louisiana, we have those dead zones, those bad areas. So it looks as if we lost him.
And I mean he makes some very valid points from the standpoint if you're Portland, you have to do what's in the best interest of your team in terms of sending him where you want him to go. But from what I'm understanding, I don't know if he has a no trade clause or not in his contract. If he has a no trade clause, you just can't send him wherever he wants to go. And in addition to that, all right, even if he doesn't have a no trade clause, I mean, from what I'm understanding, he's made it clear and transparent that hey, it's Miami or nowhere else. So either you send me to Miami or you know, from what I'm understanding, I mean, I don't know how truthful it is. I mean, he's not gonna play, he just sit out or whatever. I don't know. Um, I mean, I don't know how far he's willing to go with that because I mean, we've seen instances like in the NFL, like Carson Palmer, he was literally willing to ready to retire, and guess what? He did retire until he got to the team he wanted to go to. He came out of retirement. So I mean, unless he's willing to go to that extent, because really this whole gang with the Trailblazers and Damian Lillard, from what I'm understanding, it's kind of been a game of chicken from the outset anyway, because they had the number 3 pick. You know, he made it clear like, hey, unless you can give me some pieces that can allow me to compete for a championship I want out. They drafted Scoot Henderson, who was in their best interest. Then thereafter, he made it he made it obvious and clear that he wanted a trade. So basically, in a situation where, you really couldn't accommodate him, they really hit the reset button and rebuild anyway. So basically, they were trying to save face in terms of you don't want to look bad towards the fan base. If you get rid of him, you know you're in complete rebuild mode. So the fans will be against the organization. Whereas if he requests a trade, the organization can save face, and he looks bad. So it's pretty much it was a game of chicken to begin with. So I felt like he's done right by your organization. If he has a no trade clause, you just can't send him wherever he want. But I don't know if he has one or not. So
that dude, that dude Jimbo says a game of chicken, man. You need to stop that.
hey, who's gonna blame first? I mean, whatever you want to call it. Basically, that's essentially what it was.
What did that Jim a game of chicken, huh?
Hey.
Man, you a trip yet, man. That coach
all right,
nuggets,
all right. So,
hey, man, listen.
So back to your Boston trade. You say if Jalen Brown not on the table, then it's no trade. So if you can't send him to Boston, where would you send him?
Man, man, listen. Like you say, it depends. You got a no trade clause or not. You know, the look for Damian Lillard, the field is wide open. They got plenty of teams. You could go somewhere like maybe all right, then we will send you to New York. Think about it.
Him and
You could
Jalen
go a
Brunson is
lot of
not winning the championship.
places with the trade, but I'm just saying though, like you could get rid of Bronson and get Lillard, and I'm talking about like that. You could go a lot of different directions. He even said the Brooklyn Nets, you know, but like I don't even see him working with the 76ers. Like him and Joel Embiid, that's not a championship at all. I don't see, man.
I mean, if you move Harris and you get some pieces to put
You
around him, I
know,
mean that'll work. I think.
I mean, they got a lot of teams that are still open, wide open right now. For damn dollar, man. I mean, if you really want to Los Angeles Lakers, you know,
Dude, the Lakers don't have no tradable assets to give the Trailblazers to make that trade work.
and you got a lot of young players over there,
Who?
draft picks. They might be.
They don't have many draft picks because most of them draft picks came in New Orleans.
So it looked like we lost him once more.
Yeah, I mean,
Once
the
again, we lost.
location he's in is not the best, but in terms of the Lakers scenario he painted, I mean that's not realistic. That's not feasible because, truthfully speaking, you can't trade a player that just signed. Just say you are a free agent, whether you stay with your own team or not. Those players can't be traded till, if I'm not mistaken, like December the 15th. So Rui Hachimura went back to the Lakers. Jackson Hayes left our Pelicans, went to the Lakers. They kept Austin Reeves. I mean, what real good young players do the Lakers have? They don't have a whole lot of young players in terms of, he talked about draft picks. The Lakers don't have a whole lot of draft picks to offer Portland or anyone else. The reason being is because when they made the trade to get Anthony Davis, that sent Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and all of the players that came to New Orleans. The Lakers don't have a whole lot of draft picks. So as a result, the Lakers don't have a lot of draft capital. They don't have good young assets, and they don't have a whole lot of draft picks. So I don't see the Lakers being a feasible option in that particular scenario.
I wasn't just saying the Lakers, bro. I'm just saying, just putting it out there, man. You
Yeah,
got
yeah. I understand you just kicking around ideas or different teams that could potentially be a suitor. I understand what you're saying.
you got a lot of teams you could probably possibly go to. They got a lot of teams out there.
I understand the premise behind what you were saying,
As of
but the
right
point I'm trying
now,
to make.
it's. I think. Hey, look, check this out. We're going too deep. We're going too deep. We listen. The team he should go to, in my opinion, and that'll work on both ends for both teams. If I'm the Trailblazers, I'm going with the Celtics, man, because we can use Jalen Brown and all. You know what I'm saying? Miami really don't have nothing to give you besides Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, all the good players they had. Then went through the all season. You know what I'm saying? All these good role players. So it's gonna be hard to kind of come back and compete and win a ring if you don't have those same kind of role players, bro.
Well, like I said earlier, I did on ESPN NBA Trade Machine, and the only thing to make the money match, they would have to offer Duncan Robinson and Kyle. And Kyle Lowry. So Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson will make it work. But like you said, the Trailblazers probably won't. They don't want Kyle Lowry and they don't want Duncan Robinson probably. So. And like I said, in terms of your Boston scenario, I agree. But I mean, he's made it clear he's not going to Boston. So I mean, and we don't know if he has a no trade clause, then he can veto that trade. However, if he doesn't, and like you say, he just how far is he willing to go? Is he willing to sit out? Is he willing to not play? Is he willing to retire?
Kyle
No.
Lowry, think about it. Kyle Lowry.
Oh, we didn't get you, Rue.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out, Rue.
But
Can
a
you hear
man at his
us?
age right now, he can't. My Oh man, hey, y'all can hear me?
No,
Y'all can
you're
hear me?
cutting in and out. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Huh?
I see you're cutting in and out, but we can hear you now.
Oh, hey, at a man at his age, you can't really. I know I heard you. A man at his age, you can't really afford to say, "Man, I'm sitting out the season." You heard that?
Yeah, I heard.
Huh?
I mean, we don't know how far he's willing to go. Like I was saying, I don't know if you heard this earlier. I mean, Carson Palmer actually retired because he wasn't willing to go where he was trying to be traded. So I mean, it depends on how far he's willing to go. I mean, he made it clear like if he's not going to mind, he's willing to sit out and not play. So I mean, I don't know.
Hey, that's just like a bad kid taking a test. You know, you ain't gonna take the test. I'm just gonna fail. Think about it. Well, let's just see what he gonna do. Think about it. You know, if you gonna sit out, let him sit out. That's how I feel about the situation. But you got to look at it balls. I mean, as a Portland, you know, you got to get something good out the deal too. You can't just trade him for nothing, and you know that's crazy, man. Like
Oh,
that basically like
we in
when
100 we in
that
100% agreement.
that's like you
We in
like when you
100%
go to shoot
agreement,
on the
but
street.
we can't just assume the Trailblazer has all the leverage, though. You know.
That's just like us a couple of years ago with Chris Paul. We got Eric Gordon and all them boys. We got screwed in that deal, man. Them boys stayed hurt, and you know we never could get it together, man.
Some people say the same thing, but the Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart trade that the Lakers got the better end of that
Nah,
deal.
I ain't
I
gonna lie.
disagree, but
I think we won on that one.
I think so too. But some people said that. I mean, Josh Hart is no longer a Pelican, and who else they got besides Brandon? Oh, Lonzo Ball, he's no longer a Pelican. I think they just was saying just like big picture.
But
So
but you gotta like I ain't gonna say you got a superstar player, but you got a star player in Brandon Ingram, man.
yeah,
You know he grew up and become a man. He just gotta learn how to switch it up a little bit. You know, like man, you can't on a good night, bro. You can't stop this dude, man. The dude is money, bro. Like he's really money. Like you know what I'm saying. So I think you got a good deal in him. You know what he was when he come in the league, stayed hurt all the time. He get hurt now, but like you got a great player, man. Like he's a fan favorite. He the city, so they love him in New Orleans, man. You know, you got everything in one player, man. Then you add another guy that love the city too, as McCullough, and you know, eventually what we're going through right now is gonna break loose. All these young role players gonna come together, man, and you know, it's gonna happen for them. Everybody's
yeah.
still young right now.
And you weren't here when we talked about the Zion Williamson situation. What are your thoughts in terms of Zion Williams and the whole Mariah Mills and his adult entertainer girlfriends and baby mama and the whole
Man, look, let
situation?
me stop you right there, cuz. Let me stop you right there. Dude, dude need to play basketball. All that other kiosks and baby mama and tattoos and tramp stamps or whatever you want to call it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You need to be focused on playing basketball, dude. Paying this girl all this money. Dude, you don't know how fast you never watch Broke? You never watch 30 for 30? Just because you got all this money, go ask Isaiah what is that? Isaiah Rising, how he had this big old mansion and had a liquor insurance on it. I bet you wish he had the house now. He probably staying in an apartment somewhere or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You never know how these guys living now, man. This money not promised to you forever. You know, that's just like a rap career, singing career, whatever you got going on. Or whatever, man. You gotta be wise for what you do. And all these little fast girls get behind you. You know one thing, they see a dollar. They don't see Zion career forever. They see a dollar. And get what? They're gonna do whatever they gotta do to get a dollar. He need to see that. He need to recognize that. Man, play basketball. Focus on being on the court, staying healthy. That's where you need to be at. Instead of focus on making all kind of churn that you can't afford in the future, because they're gonna tear you up in child support. Especially if you're in Louisiana, man, they're gonna knock your head off, man. I want to say something else now, but we on this show, you know. But you know, man, you gotta be smart out here, man. You can't just be going around and laying eggs everywhere, and man, cause they're gonna. Hey, Paul George, you ain't made a baby with girl that go up and down the pole every night. And guess what? I guarantee you she ain't playing with him. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta be smart out here, man. This dude need to stay focused, get his weight down, get more physical, and be the most dominant thing in the league. Because once he on the court, everybody got eyes on him, bro. He's a top 5 player, but you could be out the league just that fast. Man, Jim, we done saw a lot of them, on top of the game and make too many stupid mistakes, and guess what? You're gone. You know what I'm saying? That's just like John Moran. I think he get caught another gun. He's gonna be banned for a whole year or something. So man, you gotta be smart when you out here playing sports, because you already a brother playing this game, making this kind of money. You're not supposed to be making this kind of money. How a lot of people feel. You gotta be smart and do the right thing, bro. And a lot of these dudes need to go see God too, man. Pray more, for real.
So I don't mean to cut you off, Kay. So you and I, like, a couple years back, you were saying, I wish the Pelicans took Ja Morant. With the mistakes that Ja Morant made and the fact that Zion has not been able to stay healthy. At this point right now, who'd you prefer? Ja Morant or Zion Williamson?
I don't know. It's still a tough one, bro. Cause, well, I ain't gonna lie. I probably say Morant, cause Morant gonna play. Zion, he got a lot of ways like in female. Like he don't want to play at time. I ain't playing. He don't want to talk to God. Man, this is your team. You supposed to open arms with anybody who they trade for or anything. You supposed to look at this team like this for you. Brandon Ingram balling, T.J. McCollum balling, Herb Jones, all you got balling. But you supposed to open your arms up to anybody that come to you. And you supposed to be able to do that.
I think we lost him.
That's what I was about to say. But I see what he's saying, and he's basically saying that he needs to be that leader. He needs to take that place and welcome people, make people feel warm. When you come to that team. So I understand completely what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, and we are in agreement. I think the problem with him is he's so young. I think he's still like what,
Come to
22,
New Orleans. Who
23.
would they trade for?
He's 22, 23. Essentially, they gave him the keys to the franchise right away. He really didn't have to earn any stripes. So, I mean, since he didn't have to earn any stripes, basically, and not only that, I mean, from a maturity standpoint, I don't think he's ever been ready to be the leader of that particular team. So, you
Yeah,
know,
and at 23, because he's 23 and he hasn't really, had to do much to, you have to go through things to really recognize and see things. And we want to send a shout out to Jared. Thank you for watching, and we appreciate you. And I'm
yeah,
sorry, Cole.
yeah, and the crazy thing about it is, you know, behind the scenes, Rude Dog and I had that particular conversation, and the crazy thing about it is, he's right from the standpoint of, Bill Parcells always said the best ability is availability, but at the rate that both of them are going, if they keep making these same silly, idiotic mistakes, I mean, it's hard to tell which one of them is in more risk of not being in the league. Because, like he said, if he has another incident or two, with the firearm in terms of John Morant, he could be out of the league. And Zion, if he's not willing to keep his weight down and stay healthy, he can be out the league also. So it could kind of go either way. It's essentially six in one hand and half a dozen in the other. But to this point, if I had to compare the careers, I would say John Morant, I think he's had a better career. But when they're both healthy, I think Zion has had a bigger impact in terms of, him being, a more dominant player.
And there we go. We have Rue back. So
I'm
Rue,
sorry.
we were just basically speaking about Zion Williamson. So and I heard what you were saying. You were saying how we basically see that you're saying that he needs to be that leader, that he needs to be welcoming people and making people feel, at home. Is that the gist of what you were saying?
I think, man, if listen, you took this money, if you don't want to be in New Orleans, then you just need to say that, man. Just come out and say that. Like, if you don't want to play here, man, look, I don't want to play here no more. Then they can find a trade for you instead of getting mad in the middle of the season, whatever makes you mad. Like, man, you need to be. It's a time to be a man, not trying to be a mummy or somebody got to figure out what's wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Walking like bro man on the sideline, man. You need to get it together, my man, bro. Like, and I'm a fan of this dude, man, because I know what he could do. Like, but you need to be in a gym working right now in your jump shot. Who can make you better player in the NBA instead of stuffing away. Like, you can see he was smaller some other man when he was coming up. Or anything like that, man. Because, you don't act like that when you're in the NBA, man. You got it's time to be a man and get to gonna win a ring instead of pouting and shouting and always mad. Hey, you gonna play this week, Zion? No, I ain't playing. I'm gonna play when I'm ready. That's too much going on in the league right now. Like, how you gonna expect to win the MVP? They already put you All Star. You barely playing 20 games. They thought this he's so big to find the playing game is because of him. Let's be honest with it. The playing game because of him because people want to see him in the playoffs playing basketball. Coach, you know what I'm talking right, bro. When the year they did the bubble, whatever the playing game was for him. Still to the day, the playing game is for him. So I can't say nothing else about him besides just let him be it. If he don't do nothing this year, whatever like that, then it's time to move on from him. Because we wasting a lot of seasons with players like McCollum got a lot of bread on their ties, and you know what I'm saying. You got a lot of young players that can step up, like that play ball or whatever. So, man, if you don't want to be here, man, look, let's just let you go. That's all I'm saying. It's just like a relationship. If somebody don't love you no more, it's just time to let it go.
Okay, well, guys, let me ask you this, and I noticed we did not touch on this in the past couple. What do you think about what's going on with LeBron? That he's willing to retire? Do you think he is going to retire if he doesn't get that third piece to make them the big three in at the Lakers? There, what do you
Well,
think?
well, actually, kid, we did address that a few shows back. Basically, what we were saying is, more than anything, it was because a lot of individuals believe that he really wants to play with Bronny James, his son, his oldest son, LeBron James Jr. So, basically, he wants a championship contender. And, like Ru was saying earlier about the Miami Heat, like if you give up assets to get Damian Lillard, you're not gonna have the same depth to make a championship run because you got to have superstar caliber players, but you also have to have a bench also. And him and I talked about this recently. How Carmelo Anthony, in the Denver Nuggets, they made the Western Conference Finals one year, and then eventually they didn't bring back some of the key players that he felt they should have brought back. And eventually Carmelo Anthony requested a trade, and he ended up getting traded to the Knicks because that was his desired destination because he's from New York or whatever the case may be. And basically, the Knicks gave up so many like good players to get him, like they really didn't have a deep team. And if some of these teams give up a lot of players to get Damian Lillard, you're not really gonna have the depth to really make a championship run. And even if you look at the Lakers situation, when they did win a championship, eventually, they let Alex Caruso go. They ended up letting KCP go, Contavious Caldwell Pope. They ended up trading some of their pieces to the Washington Wizards to get Russell Westbrook. So, from a chemistry standpoint, he didn't fit with the Lakers anyway. But more than anything, by you giving up all of these bench players to get a superstar, it's really not basically really wasn't in the Lakers' best interest. So at the end of the day, I think they did the right thing in terms of just running it back. I mean, they ended up getting Jackson Hayes from our Pelicans. They kept Alex Caruso. They kept Rui Hachimura. They kept some of their core pieces together So I think they're better off doing that as opposed to, trying to get a Kyrie Irving or James Harden or another superstar caliber player. Because if they weren't able to get a Kyrie Irving, which they weren't because he's staying with the Dallas Mavericks. Uh, Kyrie Irving, he stayed with Dallas. James Harden situation is up in the air in terms of where he's going to get traded. So at the end of the day, basically from the last report I heard was he wasn't going to go to management and make any demands. Whatever they decided to do, he was going to go with it because once they brought in Westbrook, it kind of messed everything up. And then once they traded him and they made a bunch of trades to get Alex Caruso and Rui Hachimura. That's when their team went back up. So if anything, I don't think he's going to demand anything. I think he's just willing to run it back because basically having the depth that they had is what got them to the Western Conference Finals.
Okay,
Man, let's be honest, man.
are you in agreement?
Let's be honest. Cry, baby, the ball, James, bro. All he do is cry, cheat, get everybody he want. And it guess what? It's running out. Everybody see it's running out. It's running out. You're going to cry for so many people to get on your team. You know what I'm saying? It's to the point you won't get paid. AD won't get paid. The next one won't get paid. Y'all get rid of a great player like Dennis Schroeder and all that. Like, you got to keep some of those great players. You think you bringing in the next man? Look, man, listen, the Lakers might well just think of Falcon. If you take my opinion, like, you ain't going to beat Denver now. Denver, they got the mojo. Like you said, coach, they got the mojo now. As long as these guys can stay healthy, you're not going to beat Murray and them, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think LeBron just waiting on his son, bro. Like, he going to be the first dude to be in the league to kill him rings, the scoring title, to play with his son and all that. That's what he's waiting on. So if you don't want to retire, try to be like Mike, hey, he's all for it. But I don't want to sound like no LeBron James here or nothing like that.
Oh, you're a LeBron James hater, bro.
Man, listen. All these years, bro, he did his thing. I'm going to keep it real. He did his thing. But you crying. He the reason in the league he crying for all this help. You crying for help. Man, you look at some of the greats, they never cry for help. Charles Barkley, you know what I'm saying? Shaquille O'Neal. All these guys never cry for nobody. He's crying for help. Like every year he got I want Kyrie Irving. It ain't going to happen as your partner. I want this one. I want that one. When you start doing that in the NBA, you start being a recruiter, a GM, the coach. Man, if you look on the sideline, do him, do you coach the team? He on the sideline telling the team what to do. Like, how could you want to play for somebody and coach a player like that? Coach, one thing, you wouldn't want to be on a team like that. You shoot a bad shot, he come and fuss with you. All right? He shoot a bad shot, it's all good. Think about it. Would you want to be on a team like that?
You mean would I want to coach a team like that?
If you're coaching a team and he telling you what to do, you want to coach a team like that? You want to coach?
Oh, of course not. I mean, you got to realize. No. The difference in my scenario, I'm coaching young men, whereas these are multi-millionaires that have all the leverage in their favor. So you comparing apples to oranges,
So basically, you're just gonna be a puppy with a string hanging from you. Hey,
no,
man, we ain't doing this.
I was myself in that situation.
Man, and listen, dude is a crybaby. I don't care what nobody says. He cry. Somebody get him a bill or a woman, he cries so much, man. That's one thing I don't like about him, bro. He cries so much. He always want a foul call. He want this. He want that. Man, come on, man. Play basketball. Stop looking for the easy route out. Go work on your jump shot or 3-pointers. You know what I'm saying? Go be the best at that, man. Because all he do is cry. He ain't credit cry. AD gonna come over here. Man, AD left his other agent to go sign.
I don't know. He cut
It
out.
looks like he cut out. But I hear what he's saying, but I don't think it's to that extent that he's crying that much. But everybody.
Well, I'm gonna just be real on the show. We got LeBron James hater. We got a Michael Jordan hater. And we got a borderline Michael Jordan hater, so I mean,
Oh, so I'm borderline now.
well, actually, you the
I
no,
don't like you.
hey, actually, you the Michael Jordan hater.
I know I
Raymond,
say I'm borderline now. That's what
no,
I
no,
said.
no. Raymond is the borderline.
Oh, okay. I'm just a hater.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not borderline. I don't care for it.
yeah, yeah.
So, well, with that being said, let's move on. Give us your spiel on Southern University SU alum. So,
Well, basically, I did a video earlier talking about University's defense. They added a four-star defensive lineman from Liberty. His name is Christian Zachary. I mean, and basically, more than anything, you know, I'm getting ready to drop a lot of content in terms of, the closer we get to the season, because, from what I'm hearing, actually, I did a video this morning, and I did another video, like, prior to us coming on, but, I'm having some technical difficulties in terms of uploading it. But I've been hearing a lot of like rumors and scuttlebutt in terms of University. They haven't been looking with the team hasn't been like looking good in terms of uh we really haven't made it to fall camp yet. So I'm not gonna say practice, but whether it's individual workouts or summer workouts or OTAs or whatever the case may be, evidently they haven't been looking good. It's kind of like the word on the curb in terms of like the rumors. But in that regard, I really don't pay too much attention to that because it's too early to assess what Southern University's team is going to be. It's too early to evaluate, and as a result, we just kind of have to wait till September gets here. When they actually play against Alabama State to see how good their team really is going to be. But me personally, I mean, even if they started out slow, because this past season, they started off their first game they played against Florida Memorial. And when I saw the schedule, I'm like, Florida Memorial, is that a hospital? But it's not a hospital, it's an institution of higher learning. I mean, even with that name, you wouldn't think an institution of higher learning like that would actually have a football program. But they don't have that benefit. Like they start out in SWAC play as soon as the season starts, they start out against Alabama State. So they don't have that, that kind of preseason caliber game to really get ready. They're going to hit the ground running. So even if they start off slow, I think eventually, I think they're gonna get it together. So basically, I just kind of addressing like a lot of rumors that they've been saying that their team hasn't been looking good. Like I said, I did a video this morning. I'm gonna upload a video a little bit later addressing that. So more than anything, I'm just talking about Southern University football and just addressing it.
okay,
Hey,
well,
family, I'm back, man. I'm sorry for the
The
interruption.
technical
I'm sorry for the
issues.
interruption. Hey, I'm just trying to make it to my crib, man. And I try to stop and talk to you. I don't want to mess up the show. I'm so sorry for that. Y'all forgive me? Thank y'all.
yes, we forgive
Oh, of
you.
course.
And with that, moving on, we're gonna talk about which team has won the NBA offseason so far. So let's start with you, Rue. Who do you think who's won the offseason so far with the NBA? Have you been watching
You saying the NBA?
No, she said it. The off season,
the
NBA
offseason
off season.
NBA? You know, with
In the
the
NBA, huh?
Yeah,
yes.
I think the Houston Rockets.
Okay, coach, who do you think has won so far?
I mean, I know he's gonna say he disagrees, but me personally, I would say the Lakers because they kept Austin Reeves, they kept Rui Hachimura, and plus they stole Jackson Hayes from our Pelicans. So when you look at Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura were like key critical pieces that allowed them to get to the Western Conference Finals. The issue was they really didn't have anybody to match up with the Joker. That's going to be the major issue. And I think maybe Jackson Hayes could kind of help solve that problem. We'll see. I don't think Jackson Hayes could stop the Joker either, but maybe he could cause him some problems. Maybe if they could go get somebody like maybe JaVale McGee, he might be able to cause some issues and problems for the Joker. But more than anything, I think the Lakers had the best offseason. I know Rudolph said he said the Houston Rockets. I mean, They added Dylan Brooks and Van Fleet, but I mean they got a real young team. I really wouldn't say they won all season, but we'll see.
And did you see, because they look like their young guys has a lot of potential, because they played against the Warriors the other night. I'm unsure if you guys saw, and their team looks pretty good, the young guys, and because they won against the Warriors.
Well, NBA Summer League is
Yeah,
the
I'm just
equivalent.
saying they have a lot of potential
No,
with people who will be coming from there
I
that they
understand.
will draft.
I understand what you're saying, but the NBA Summer League is the equivalent to NFL training camp or the NFL preseason. It means nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Well, okay. Well, with that being said, guys, let's shift gears. And who do you think made the worst off season pickup? Let's start with you, Rue. Who do you think? Okay, I think Rue, we lost him once more. Coach, let's start with you. Who do you think made the worst off-season pickup?
Me personally, I would say the Dallas because you know those Williams boys for the Celtics. Grant Williams and Robert Williams. They were a key and vital piece to the Celtics making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. But to give Grant Williams like a 4-year deal for like 53 million and a signing trade, that's a bad deal. I mean, I think them keeping Kyrie Irving is it was a real important piece. I think the issue with Kyrie is the fact that him and Luka, they both ball dominant. I don't think they really mesh well together. Whereas I think maybe like somebody like Kyrie and LeBron, they probably fit well together, but Kyrie and Luka, they don't fit well together at all. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you need like scrappy role players to help get you over the hump, to help get you over the hump and get you to being a championship caliber team. But, I think they overpaid for Grant Williams. Grant Williams is a good player. Of course, it was a stupid move when he started talking crazy to Jimmy Buckets. Started talking crazy to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler lit him up. And the Celtics were winning game 2, the Eastern Conference Finals. And after that, the Heat won game 2. The Heat went up 3-1, and eventually they came back. But the Heat still won the series. But them overpaying Grant Williams, I mean, I think he got like 53 million for like 4 years. And I mean, I think they overpaid for him. I mean, don't get me wrong, he a good scrappy role player, but I think that was the worst pickup. I mean, in my opinion. I mean, just some of the pickups in general, the amount of money like the Rockets gave Dylan Brooks. I think some of these guys overpaid. That's in my opinion.
Okay, Rue, are you there? Well, right now, Coach, let me get you to tell me, who do you think was the best pick for the off-season pickup?
I mean, it's not necessarily a free agent move. It's more of a trade. And I know some people are going to be like, well, of course, that's kind of obvious. I know some people thinking it's going to be Bradley Beal going to the Phoenix Suns. It's not it. It's Kristaps Porzingis to the Boston Celtics. I think adding Porzingis, I mean, don't get me wrong, Marcus Smart was key and vital and a pivotal piece to these deep runs that the Boston Celtics have been making year in and year out. He's like a core piece in terms of, them being a scrappy defensive team, gritty. He was a defensive. Understand that. However, adding Porzingis, it kind of gives them the size that they need to overtake a team like Miami. And if they were to play a team like Denver, if you put Porzingis on a Joker, neither one of them are extremely athletic. Both of them are pretty skilled. So I think that could kind of help the Celtics if they were to play against the Denver Nuggets in the 7-game series. So, you got Jaylen Brown, you got Jason Tatum, you got Al Horford, you got Porzingis. I don't know if they're going to still trade Malcolm Brogdon. You got Derek White. The Celtics have a deep team, and I think, just getting Porzingis, he could be the piece that puts him over the top, and maybe they eventually win the NBA championship with him this year. We'll see. It kind of remains to be seen, but I wouldn't say it's Bradley Beal. I would say it's Kristaps Porzingis going to the Boston Celtics.
Okay, so let me ask you this. While we're still waiting for Rue, last thing, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the NBA off season or do you prefer the NFL training camp? Which one do you prefer?
Well, I think that the good thing about the NFL training camp is leading up to the start of the NFL season. Training camp preseason. To me, they're just kind of necessary evils to get to the NFL season. But truthfully speaking, if I had to pick between the two, I would say the NBA off season because, in some instances, Ru could kind of attest to this, when we played, 2K or we even played Madden. In many instances, the off season is just as good as the actual regular season itself. So with the, NBA off season, I mean, just think about it. You've had, Bradley Beal be traded to the Phoenix Suns. You have Porzingis traded to the Boston Celtics. You've had, of course, Kyrie stayed. The Lakers kept their core intact. The Milwaukee Bucks kept their core intact. The Golden State Warriors kept their core intact, but they added Chris Paul and they traded Jordan Poole. So, I mean, the NBA offseason has been pretty interesting, whereas, NFL training camp hasn't arrived yet. But for the most part, you just kind of sitting through training camp and you're sitting through the NFL preseason just to get to the NFL regular season because, a lot of those guys you see in training camp, a lot of those guys you see in the NFL preseason, they're not going to make the active roster and they're not going to be there in the regular season. So, I mean, it's kind of like six in one hand and half a dozen in the other. But if I had to choose between the two, I would take the NBA offseason over the NFL, over NFL training camp.
Okay. So it looks like we lost Rue and it seems as if we can't get him back. So are there any final thoughts that you have, Coach, that you would like to share your thoughts about what Southern may be looking like in the future? Because I know you shared your thoughts. Anything about Damian Lillard? Um, Anything about the NBA, NFL that you would like to share?
I mean, for the most part, I mean, it was a great show. Outside of technical difficulties Rudolph was having, I mean, it was a great show. I really don't have anything else to add. Shout out to my brother Jared 11 Green. Check him out on his channel. Check out the other brother, Brent Fox. He's a newer LDBC brother that's just started his channel. So check out Jared 11 Green and Brent Fox. It was a great show. We appreciate everybody that's been rocking with us since day one. For those, like I said earlier, I uploaded a Southern University video earlier today. As soon as I get, my technical situation straight, I'm gonna drop another one later on tonight. So y'all stay tuned. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal weekend. You can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Y'all be blessed. We'll catch y'all next week.
And so, and you can catch Rue also on his social media platforms, Rue Dog, and
No, I think I don't
Facebook.
mean to cut you off. I think on Instagram, I think he's Black Mexican, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay, okay. But
Yes.
I know he's on platforms, and I'm
Rudy
pretty
Harvey on Facebook, but I think Black Mexican on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken.
okay. And guys, we appreciate your love and your support. We would like to close with the quote: "Always make a total effort, even when the odds are against you." So, guys, please like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the section below. We love you. Y'all have a great evening. Bye bye.